Good morning, John. Mitch, are you guys prepared for this town hall meeting?
Obi, I'm not so sure this is a good idea. We have no good news for the public. We are not close to an agreement on sequestration. We can't lie to them.
Mitch, we won't lie, but we don't have to tell the complete story. Let's live in the gray world. The purpose of this meeting is to find out how the public feels.
I'm really not comfortable with this.
Well, it's too late now. Here they come. Good morning, everyone. We have agreed to have this town hall meeting in order to clarify the sequestration situation and its effects on you and the country.
We will be taking questions from the floor.
And from several remote locations.
Mr. President, we have our first question from Barbara, in the Midwest.
Gentlemen, the super committee, which had 6 Democrats and 6 Republicans, 12 people like a jury, but they ended up a hung jury. I expected that. Why did you expect it to work?
They were the best and the brightest. It is a very complicated issue and they could not come to a decision. There were no politics involved. Plus your question is inappropriate.
Now a question from the audience. It's George from Massachusetts.
Senator McConnell, Speaker Boehner, have you considered the cost of lost revenues and fees associated with the staff and service reductions caused by sequestration?
Fees? What fees?
Yeah, what revenues? How will you know?
The simplest example, one I'm sure you gentlemen can understand, is the air traffic controllers. Sequester will cause staff reductions, right?
Of course. Yes.
Absolutely.
Reduction in air traffic control services results in fewer flights. Each ticket provides $3.90 in service fees for air traffic costs, mostly payroll. So based upon simple math, you save $500 million and you lose $400 million in fees, plus all the revenues from ancillary business near the airports. George, that's all very interesting, but how do we know your facts are correct? I have to believe that your question is irrelevant and inappropriate.
And now a question from Dr. Martin, in the theater.
The Center for Medicare and AMP. Medicaid has a budget of about $320 million a month. But the workload won't be cut. 1.2 billion claims a year. That many erroneous or fraudulent claims will get through the system. Goodbye savings.
You may be right, but that entitlement program is running amok. We have to stop it somewhere.
You may be correct. But when the center is paying 50% over cost for drugs, when it should by law only pay 5%, it's not the recipients who are at fault.
That sounds too technical for me.
There are alternatives to this half-witted approach to fiscal austerity. There is no excuse for the Medicare Trust Fund to pay top dollar for prescription drugs used by its patients.
You are so smart. What would you do?
It's not what I would do. It's Congress that has to do the oversight. But that is work. Something Congress does not even pretend to be able to do.
Doctor, you are being impertinent.
Maybe so. But this year Congress has had 14 legislative sessions. Only worked 4 full days. They are going to work 6 days in March and AMP. Then go on vacation.
Doctor, you have said enough. Shut up his mic.
Now ladies and gentlemen, from our audience, welcome J. Thomas Superclass. Self-made millionaire. Using grandpa's money. Contributor to both parties.
Obi, Mitch, John, you know me, you know how I made my money, so I'm here to tell you that sequestration will cost you more than it saves. How about that?
Tom, you can't be serious.
I am serious. You lay off IRS auditors and you lay off DoD auditors. Who's going to catch the tax cheats and defense contractors who are always looking for an edge? Tom, what kind of money are we talking about here? In 2011 the defense auditors saved $3.5 billion, so while the auditor furlough will save $45 million in wages, you will lose between $350 million and $500 million in audit savings. Not good. And IRS is worse. Sequestration will cut the agency's budget by a little more than $600 million and result in a $4.5 billion loss in tax revenue. It's time for you to act. Thanks, Tom. We have time for one more speaker.
Our last speaker will be Hashi from the Bronx. A three-sewer man. Ph.D. in nuclear astrophysics.
Gentlemen, you look terrible. I have looked at all the data. The picture is bleak. as you have heard. But there is a way out. There will have to be sacrifices. You can avoid layoffs. You can save the jobs.
Heshi, what do we need to do?
What is it?
Okay, let's hear it.
You need a lead. You need to set an example. Obia and Joe must take a 25% cut in pay. The Congress, the Supreme Court, the Cabinet, the directors must take the same cut in pay. If you do this, then the lower levels of staff will accept smaller cuts, between 5 and 10%. This will keep the country going and give you time to work on all the problems that need fixing.
Do you think everybody heard what he said?
I think so. Imagine that. He actually expected us to be leaders.
I think it's time for us to leave.